Hello everyone and welcome back to Talking Points with KPI, episode number 72. Today we are going to be talking about training versus playing in the summer, and this is going to be tailored towards our high school athletes. We did a podcast earlier on college athletes, whether they should play or choose individualized development. If you want to go see that, please go check that out at YouTube at Kinetic Performance Institute. So we'll just get right into it. Athletes only have one time of the year to go on development, and that is the summertime. I'll let you two start. Just kind of how important is this summertime, especially for athletes, or high school athletes, excuse me.
I think the summer, I think the summer can be leveraged to be like the most important time of the year for like an aspiring baseball player. Like you can really get the most done in the summer because you don't have the competition of the school day, high school practices, stuff like that. Where I think the problem gets presented, where a lot of athletes get caught, is that they do get pulled in a lot of different directions in the summer. Travel ball tournaments, showcases, college prospect camps, family vacations, and I think there also is a little bit of a getting out of their routine. And then especially someone like me, like when I get out of my routine, I'm a mess, and so then they sleep in, and then they get a little lazy, and then it's like, oh, I'm going on vacation tomorrow, I don't want to go in today. Like that kind of mindset permeates, and what ends up happening is that a lot of these baseball players ruin that 2.5 month stretch where they can just absolutely get after, because they just kind of get lost in the shuffle of what is the summer.
Yeah, I talked about, I think on the last podcast,
we did,
this shirt, it requires sacrifice. It requires consistency. I think that's the other part of the athletes that ultimately achieve their goals, is they're consistent, they work hard, and they sacrifice. And I think the other is that they go against the norm. Like, you have to go against the norm to suffice these numbers. Like, if you think just playing more games, that's like in school, like, oh, we're just going to take more tests. I'm not going to read the books. I'm not going to do all the practice quizzes. I'm not going to do any of the other prep. I just want to take tests and see if I get better. And you keep getting C's. Yeah. We'll just go play in an easier tournament. Or I'll go play against that competition. And I think that mentality in the model, I say this to every single family, the model that's sold is you play more, play better competition, find better coaching. All three of those things are completely outside the control of the athlete, so they don't take into account the athlete you're dealing with. There are some guys that should play summer ball. Yeah. We do tell athletes, like, yeah, you got to go play. Mm-hmm. An overwhelming majority of athletes, playing more tournaments. If you just want to have fun, you want to participate, go for it. If you really want to make it to the next level, you have to have a plan. And in the summer, the removal of the school schedule frees up time and energy for you then to dedicate to something that is training.
Yeah, and so kind of just piggyback off that topic, this was a big topic in college, because obviously the playing time is skewed in college. There's more opportunities in the high school level to get playing time during the high school season. How important is it for high school athletes to not use the excuse of, well, I'm playing games, so I'm getting better?
Because it doesn't work. Like it's just been proven over and over again that model doesn't work. I coach travel ball. What my travel teams do when we're on the road? We go lift every other day. I make them wake up, I go pay for them to go to a gym, and we lift. Like the right things have to be prioritized, and really the system isn't set up for development, especially in the summer. Travel ball coaches lick their chops in the summer. Every single time they go to a tournament, they make money. Okay, so that's why they're going to schedule 5-6 tournaments in the summer, because every single time they do that, they make money. But that is not the best thing for the athlete. Flying or driving around the country, being on the road, eating crappy food, being in a hotel, not lifting, that's minor league baseball life. Like that's what you do when you make it. That's not what you're supposed to do when you're trying to develop and get better. And we see it over and over again. Like, everyone knows the guys that train here. They didn't go do that. They didn't go chase every showcase. They didn't go play 40 days on the road in the summer. They played. I think we keep saying this, like, we want guys to play. We're not the anti-play police here. All right, we want guys to go play. But what they did do is they balanced it. All right, there's a balance to be achieved. It's really not that hard. And something I always tell kids and families is, like, say no. I'm not going to this tournament. I need to train that week. Like, it's a crazy concept. You can tell a travel ball coach no. And guess what? They're still going to put you on the team if you're a good player,
I think the centralization of players getting to the next level, meaning my travel ball coach is complete control of my recruitment. I think that Twitter, Instagram, the internet, recruiting services, some are good and some are bad, but the ones that are out there doing the right things, we are democratizing the ability to get to the next level. So you don't have to feel like you're held hostage to the travel ball coach And I think that's the first villain, right? You getting to the next level is not inherently connected to them becoming a profitable or a good organization. That is ultimately presented as a byproduct. Winning tournaments and getting more families to sign up and having the A team, the B team, and the C team, all of those things are more important than you getting to the next level. Because if you getting to the next level was important, we wouldn't have a 90% failure rate. And so I think that's the first villain. Second villain is parents like falling into the grass is greener or trying to assimilate with others around, like, oh, well they're going to Arizona and they're doing this and they're going to that showcase, and you feel like you got to keep up with the Joneses because, oh, well, if I'm not letting my son go there, then I'm keeping them from achieving their goals or whatever it may be. I think that's the next person, and the last person is the athlete themselves. You have to recognize and know, here's where I'm at and what do I need to get better. Again, there is a small percentage of players who are good enough that need to go out and compete and test their tools. But an overwhelming majority of them, you need to get bigger, faster, stronger. You need to work on your swim. You need to work on your mechanics. You need to work on all those things. You need to stay healthy. That's one of those common ones we see in the summer is guys get hurt because you get crushed all spring by your high school team. You do nothing. Like, oh, high school season's over. It's May, June, July, or May and June. I'm done. I'm not going to do anything for even 2 to 3 weeks. And then you go right into a crazy schedule, and what do you know? You're hurt by the end of July. Yeah. And now you got to go see a doctor in August. And then, you're back at our doorstep saying, well, I saw Dr. So-and-so. He sent me over to come and see you guys because this is the place that keeps guys healthy. So it's the same story over and over again.
And on that note, there are really good travel ball orgs out there that get this.
Yes.
That don't go play 5 or 6 tournaments in the summer. They play 3. And they only have 1 destination tournament. If you're not an ultra high level recruitable player, why are you flying all over the country to play tournaments? One, it's fun. Like, have a destination, like, it's fun, right? To go somewhere and play, like, that's fine. Like, use it as a little mini vacation, like a lot of families do. The good travel ball orgs out there get it, all right? And they understand that if a kid trains a lot in the summer, that kid's going to get moved on to the next level at a higher rate. That's good for my travel ball org. Okay, but like I said, most are money grabs. The model in travel ball is not retention. It's just keeping the churn going. False promises, come to this tournament. That's all you need is exposure, and it keeps churn and a churn and the churn. And they keep getting new players because people buy, people take the sugar, So I would recommend families and athletes go do research, and don't look at their website on who they've had committed, because we know, they'll invite a guest player for a tournament and then that kid commits and then all of a sudden he's one of their players, So don't do that, but do real research, talk to real people, and then look at their schedule. Like, if their schedule isn't logical, if it looks like you're going to burn through $20,000 this summer chasing around stuff, that's not a good tournament for you. That's not a good team for you.
I think sorry, I keep cutting you off now.
No, you're good.
I think the other one's funny is you go to a tournament and you get, 2 innings.
Yeah.
Like, I got, 2 at-bats. I was like, you just got robbed.
Yeah. They got the Twitter post.
They got 15 position players on their roster.
It's like what's so funny about travel ball? The first knock on it was, it's the pay to play. It's like, yes, you are. You're paying to play, so you should get to play. Yeah. And if you show up to a tournament and you don't play at all, your coach is sending you a message. You suck. You have no business being at that tournament.
They'll cash your check though.
Yes, yeah. And they'll make you buy all the jerseys of the year and stuff. So
which they get a percentage of, by the way. Throwing that out there for everyone.
Yes.
So it's kind of switch topics. You brought it up a little bit, but so going in, this will be your 3rd full summer at KPI, right? And we talked about the injuries and how high of an injury rate summer really is. To go through 2 summers now, where you have kids playing, you have kids in the facility developing at a really high level with no injuries. How do you, and without giving the secret sauce away, we talk about the workouts on the road, and then Dan, I want you to also talk about the strength side of that in the summer, because this is a time where we really need to crunch down, because this is where kids are going full bore trying to get the best that they can get.
I think it's the regularity, it's the routine part side of things. The danger of the summer are those gaps between tournaments and the lack of structured practice and training every day. For all the ills of high school baseball, you're there every day. You're on somewhat of a structure. There's regularity, especially for high level pitchers. They're pitching on the same day of the week, hopefully, stuff like that. In summer, I might pitch one weekend, not have another tournament for 2 weeks. What am I doing between those times? We know travel balls don't structure stuff like that. They don't have regular practices because it's usually from all over. And so that's, to me, like that's the danger of a summer from an injury point of view. It's like those large gaps in the schedule, and the natural teenage male reaction is just to chill during that time, and really not like get after, because no one's telling them to do that. We know young males need to be told what to do. We know that for a fact. So like that's always my concern in the summer, is that they stay on a good routine and they're regular.
Yeah. I think with even the way that you presented that, like there is no such thing as zero injuries.
True. Yes.
Like there are athletes that are under our guidance and ultimately get hurt. There's so many variables. It's so complex. If there were solutions and there was a spot where like you're guaranteed to never get hurt, like everybody would be there. Yeah. So I think that's a misnomer that you're not going to get hurt. All we're doing is mitigating risk. Mm-hmm. We're just making sure and using objective data to tell us, okay, you're moving closer to goals or moving further away. And I think that the summertime, the reason exactly what you're saying is the structure goes away and the oversight goes away. And so we all did it. You play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You don't do anything Monday through Thursday because there's no practice anymore. You just show up for the games. I literally did it. It was the model that when I was playing, what day am I pitching? I would text the coach, what day am I pitching? And he goes, all right, you're pitching this day. I would show up and I wouldn't go to any of the games. And I would just do that every weekend. Yeah. And then during the week, I would do nothing. I wouldn't work out. I wouldn't throw. I literally wouldn't throw because my arm would hurt so bad because of that one time that I threw. And that'd be the equivalent of like going to the weight room and just maxing out your squats and your deadlifts and your bench press and just doing that once a week. You'd feel like absolute trash, right? So the injury piece, I think, it's really high on either end. Transitioning from your high school season into the summer because the capacity is so low and the demand all of a sudden spikes really high, or it's at the tail end of the season where you're like trying to get that last little tournament and we're playing in August and you're going to do the showcase for this team in September. Like that's where like likely those injuries occur. And so being at a place like ours where we can track where you're at using our force plates and using the armcare.com system, it allows us to make better decisions and again mitigate risk. We're not going to ever say, nobody gets injured here, because it's just we're dealing with 14 to 18-year-old males who all make stupid decisions every single day and play video games till 4 a.m. and wake up at 1 p.m. and then roll over here and come and work out. Like we're dealing with a very difficult population. So I think that the summer is a time where you can get, and we said there's the spring too, you can get an advantage and get ahead, or you can keep like almost like the boat starts to sink.
I mean, I say this all the time. The best players figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
Our best guys, they do what we're saying right now is what they do. They balance it. They do it the right way, and then, we'll get Johnny Schmill, high school player that thinks he has to go to a million showcases, and it gets him nowhere. And it's like, man, didn't we tell you? Like we told you the answer to the test. Yeah. But yeah, they just, for whatever reason, it's just, trying to throw simple solutions at complex problems. That's all it is.
I think it's funny too. It's like on average, we keep just talking about the averages, right? It's 2 days a week.
Yeah,
we're not saying you need to be getting after it every single day and crushing. No, you just need to be on a structured routine. You're in here 2 days a week. You have the other 2 days accounted for with your tournaments, and you got 3 more days to figure out what you got to do with your time, which is likely sleep, eat, and then probably get a workout in.
Yeah.
But like this is not an outlandish like crazy thing to do. You're just working out twice a week consistently.
Well, I think also people misunderstand like how easy the system is to get your workout from anywhere.
Yeah.
Like that's also an ability that you guys have created for athletes to, if they don't have an opportunity to get into the facility, they have it on their phone with the workout plan for them right there.
We have a hotel workout.
Yeah.
Like stuff they could do in a hotel gym. Like we'd rather, if they're going to go to a tournament, we'd rather them do a crappy hotel workout and give them structure than just have them do nothing.
Yeah. So I think it's one of the parents will ask this, like, what equipment does my kid need? And I purposely set up our workouts, our arm care, everything. You can find it in any gym. Yeah. There's a tendency for strength coaches to make it like, I need this specialty thing or this and only in my gym.
You have
to come here because they want you to pay money to be here. Yeah. I purposely set up the SSC system that any gym you walk into, you likely can get majority of your workout done. And anything that you can't, hey Dan, what can I do for this exercise instead? And I'll send you an exercise right there on the spot. So there are no excuses. All of the obstacles are removed. And again, like I understand, like you want to play, like especially if you didn't play much for your high school team. I think this is your one opportunity to go play with your buddies and traveling and like that whole experience is great. And if that's what you want, just be realistic.
Yeah.
Don't say D1 or die and then go become the participator guy. Like I'm just going to participate.
Be the practice warrior.
Just be realistic. Like tell your parents, I just want to play in the summers with my buddies. That's totally fine. We have guys that have come in and said that. Totally fine. That's more respectable than the I want to be D1 and I weigh 125 pounds and it's like.
And then I'm gonna just go play a bunch of games.
And I think that's the other misconception too. Is like people. I think a lot of the times when kids come up to you and say these things, people think that you guys go, no, like,
no.
Who do you think you like? You understand that these kids want to do these things, and it's not. You're not going to dictate their lives.
Yeah, I understand when they get like an invitation to a showcase and they get excited, but then I can explain to them what it actually is, or like, hey, like, you throw 82 miles an hour, like that's not a good idea for you. Let's do the things that make it valid for you to go to a showcase,
Or another little dirty secret: if you're good enough, you get invited.
And you don't pay. Yeah. We got to deal with our high level guys on that a lot. Like it's like, I don't have to pay. I'm like, here's why you don't have to pay. I'm like, I'm not going.
Yes, because they get to put your post on social media of like, look who showed up at our showcase.
Yeah.
So different than the tournament. You show up to the tournament. There's 3 kids that are like, I've never seen those guys before. Where did they come from? Yeah, you paid for them to play. 100%. Another little dirty secret to travel ball.
Yeah.
So the rich kids or the kids who pay that aren't very good, you're paying for the kids who are really really good, whether they're rich or not. They're not paying because they're really, really good and it helps them win. So it's the system needs to change. It really does. It really does.
Anything else?
I'm gonna say it again. Just I think the balance side of things, like the roadmaps there. We've seen dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of guys do this the right way, and we've seen just as many, probably more, do it the wrong way. Like it really isn't complicated. I think parents and athletes need to stand up for themselves. They need to use logic. Something I tell the parents all the time is like, hey, you don't treat your professional career as random and scattered and frantic. Don't treat your kids' development like that. Don't treat this recruiting process like that. Use logic, use the system, be methodological, and I think they get to a good place eventually. Or just talk to one of the really good players and see what they did. Yeah. Like again, like the guys here don't do showcases. They don't do random stuff. Like they're very, very structured in how they're handled, and I think it's a good learning experience for everyone else.
Yeah, they get good enough that everybody else wants you to be there.
Yeah, it's an old saying: if you're good enough, they'll find you.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter where you are.
And that is even more true now. I think in the past that wasn't necessarily true because just
the nature of
the internet and all that. But I think now, like if you are really really good,
they'll find you.
Like you will get found.
Exposure is the least problem in the recruiting world now.
Yes.
That used to be a problem. Pre-COVID, that was a problem. It is not a problem anymore.
Yeah. And then I think the other is like using pitchers versus hitters. Like from a pitching standpoint, like objectively, if you throw hard enough, that will get enough attention to then get you an opportunity to prove all the other stuff. Like you posting, 6 innings, 18 Ks or something crazy like that. That you post one video of you throwing 97, change your life. You post 100 videos of you striking out every single batter. I don't think necessarily anybody really cares. So, because they'll look at the tournament, they'll look where you're at, like, there's a bunch of crappy teams. Like, that doesn't mean anything. So, it's, yeah.
All right, thank you guys very much. Just on the basis, athletes can find the right place so they can improve their peak performance levels while still playing enough games, and that place is KPI. So if this resonated with you at any point, please go to kpimh.com, find the assessment tab, and sign up today, and then get started. Your journey is where we belong, and we want to be a part of it with you. So please go follow us on Instagram at Facebook, Twitter, and then please go subscribe to our YouTube channel at Kinetic Performance Institute. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great day.